Far beyond the reach of any human eye, in the cold emptiness of deep space, a tiny signal drifted through the stars. It was weak, broken, almost lost in the noise of the galaxy. Yet, somewhere on Earth, a team of scientists picked it up. The room was filled with the soft hum of computers and blinking lights, but the signal made everything feel tense, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Dr. Lena Morales leaned over the console, her eyes narrowing at the strange pattern. "This isn't random," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Her fingers danced across the keyboard, adjusting the frequency, trying to pull the signal into something readable. Around her, colleagues whispered and exchanged glances. No one had ever seen a pattern like this before. Commander Rajan Singh, standing at the edge of the room, frowned. His sharp eyes scanned the monitors, searching for meaning. "Can it be a warning?" he asked. His voice was calm, but there was an edge of worry. "It's more than that," Lena replied. "It's a distress call." A collective silence fell over the room. A distress call. From another world. The thought made every scientist's heart race. Humanity had always wondered if life existed elsewhere, but now, in this moment, another civilization was calling for help, and it was reaching across the stars to them. The signal continued, pulsing faintly, almost like a heartbeat. It carried words, shapes, and sounds that were almost impossible to decode. Lena and her team worked frantically, translating, comparing, trying to understand what the aliens were trying to say. Time stretched thin as the minutes passed. Every second seemed to carry the weight of the galaxy itself. Finally, a series of symbols appeared on the main screen. Lena's eyes widened. They are under attack," she said, her voice trembling slightly. The room went quiet again, the weight of the message sinking in. Not just a simple warning or a greeting. An attack. Something deadly was threatening a whole civilization, and they had no one else to call. Commander Singh took a deep breath. "How far are they?" he asked. Lena's fingers hovered over the keyboard. "Almost 300 light-years," she said. The words felt heavy in the air. "It will take decades for a normal ship to reach them, unless we act." "Decades?" Singh's voice hardened. "We don't have decades." He turned to the team. "We have to respond. Now." There were murmurs among the scientists. Some were afraid, some were excited, and some were skeptical. Sending humans across space to a civilization we had never seen before? It sounded impossible. Yet, the urgency in Singh's voice left no room for doubt. Humanity could not ignore this call. A sudden noise cut through the room, a sharp, electric beep. The signal had changed. Faster, stronger, almost frantic. Lena's fingers flew over the controls. The message was breaking apart. "They're moving closer to danger," she said, almost in disbelief. "If we don't do something, they might be gone before we can even get there." The room erupted into activity. Military leaders were called, governments held emergency meetings, scientists worked day and night. Humanity had never faced a decision like this before. Some argued it was too dangerous, that sending ships into unknown territory could destroy countless lives. Others argued that humanity had a duty. If life existed elsewhere, if it was asking for help, they had to respond. As debates raged, Singh and Lena prepared a plan. They couldn't rely on conventional ships. They needed something faster, stronger, smarter. Humanity had been advancing in technology, pushing the limits of AI and propulsion systems. Now, all that effort had a purpose. A fleet began to take shape. Ships equipped with the newest weapons, shields, and AI that could think faster than any human mind. Despite the preparations, uncertainty hung like a shadow. No one knew what kind of enemy awaited them. The distress call gave hints, blurry images of destruction, flashes of unknown ships, and a strange energy that seemed to consume everything it touched. Lena shivered as she watched the images. This enemy was not like anything humanity had faced before. It was intelligent, deadly, and relentless. Even as the Armada began its preparation, the signal flickered. It sent one last message, almost like a plea. Lena translated the final words aloud, her voice barely audible over the hum of the computers. We cannot survive alone. The room went silent again. Singh clenched his fists. Then we won't let them, he said, his voice steady, filled with determination. Humanity will answer. We will go. We will fight. We will not let this civilization fall. Outside the building, the sun rose over Earth, spilling light over oceans and mountains. In that moment, humanity made a choice. They would step into the unknown, face dangers far beyond anything they had imagined, and travel across the stars to answer a call for help. The distress signal faded, replaced by a new pulse, a rhythm that mirrored the preparations on Earth. It was not just a message. It was a challenge. And humanity was ready to meet it. For the first time, humans looked at the stars not just with curiosity, but with purpose. The journey had begun. The news of the alien distress signal spread across Earth like wildfire. Every television, every radio, every digital screen carried the same message. A civilization far away was asking for help, and it was under attack. People stared at the stars, wondering what dangers lurked out there. Some were afraid, some were excited, but everyone felt the same thing, a sense of responsibility. Humanity could not ignore this. In meeting rooms filled with glowing screens and military maps, leaders of nations argued. General Aiko Tanaka slammed her hand on the table. We can't wait, she said. If we hesitate, they will be gone before we even arrive. We must act. But we know nothing about them, replied Ambassador Reyes. We don't know who their enemy is, how strong it is, or even if our ships can reach them in time. This could cost millions of lives on Earth. The argument grew heated. Some saw this as a chance for humanity to shine, to prove that humans could stand against cosmic threats. Others saw it as a gamble too dangerous to take. Yet, in the background, Commander Rajan Singh and Dr. Lena Morales quietly prepared. They knew what had to be done. Humanity had the technology, the intelligence, and the courage to respond. They just needed everyone else to agree. Across Earth, scientists worked tirelessly, designing ships capable of traveling at speeds that seemed impossible just years ago. AI systems hummed in laboratories, learning every possible battle tactic, predicting enemy moves, and preparing humans for what lay ahead. Engineers built massive fleets, their hulls gleaming under the factory lights. Ships were equipped with energy shields, advanced weapons, and communication systems that could work across light years. Even as the ships were built, doubts lingered. Military officers worried about unknown enemies, alien technology, and cosmic phenomena. Some whispered that humanity might be walking into a trap. But Singh reminded everyone of what the signal had said: we cannot survive alone. These words echoed in his mind. They could not ignore a plea for help. Finally, after weeks of debate, the decision was made. Earth would send an armada, a fleet of ships carrying the bravest men and women humanity had to offer. It was not just a rescue mission, it was a statement. Humanity would travel to the stars, not as conquerors, but as saviors. The day of departure was unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Thousands of people gathered at launch facilities, waving and cheering as the armada prepared to leave. The ships shone under the sunlight, massive and powerful, engines humming like the heartbeat of a giant. Commander Singh stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking out at the crowd below. His heart was steady, but inside, he felt the weight of responsibility. Beside him, Dr. Lena Morales monitored the final transmissions from the alien world. They are waiting, she said softly. I can feel it. They are counting on us. As the countdown began, tension filled the air. Every scientist, soldier, and pilot knew the journey ahead would be dangerous. Space was vast and unforgiving, and the enemy they were going to face was unknown. Yet, there was no turning back. Humanity had made its choice. When the engines ignited, the armada lifted into the sky with a roar that shook the ground. Ships accelerated faster than the eye could follow, leaving Earth behind. Families watched as tiny lights disappeared into the distance, carrying hope, courage, and determination across the cosmos. During the journey, the crew faced moments of doubt. Communication with Earth was limited, and supplies had to be rationed. Strange cosmic storms tested the ship's shields, and small attacks from unidentified alien scouts reminded them that danger was real and close. Yet, every challenge strengthened their resolve. The crew learned to work as one, to trust each other and their technology, and to rely on human ingenuity when the odds seemed impossible. Singh often walked among his crew, speaking quietly but firmly. "Remember why we are here," he said. "Not for glory. Not for power. For life itself. We are human, and we do not abandon those in need. That is who we are." Lena spent hours studying the faint traces of the alien enemy. The more she learned, the more she realized how formidable it was. Ships consumed entire worlds, leaving nothing behind. Civilization after civilization had fallen before this enemy. But humanity was different. Humans did not just fight with weapons, they fought with creativity, courage, and hope. And that might be the difference that could save the aliens. As the Armada crossed deeper into space, Earth became a distant memory. Stars stretched endlessly around them, silent witnesses to humanity's mission. Every pulse from the alien world reminded them of the stakes. Every new danger forced them to adapt and innovate. The signal that began as a simple call for help had become a call to action, for all of humanity. And so, as the Armada traveled farther into the unknown, every human on board understood one thing clearly. They were no longer just travelers in space. They were a lifeline. They were the hope of a civilization they had never met. And failure was not an option. The human Armada left the solar system behind, entering the dark, empty reaches of deep space. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction, distant and cold, like tiny fires scattered across a black ocean. On the bridge of the flagship, Commander Rajan Singh stared out at the endless void. The crew moved quietly, their eyes fixed on the navigation screens, but beneath the calm, attention ran through every human aboard. They were far from home, traveling into the unknown, and danger could appear at any moment. Dr. Lena Morales monitored the alien distress signal, which pulsed faintly through the darkness. Every few minutes, it flickered, sometimes stronger, sometimes weaker. "They are still out there," she said softly to Singh. "They are counting on us." The ships faced their first real test almost immediately. As they passed through a dense asteroid field, massive rocks twisted and tumbled through space. Sensors beeped frantically as the Armada navigated between the deadly obstacles. Pilots gritted their teeth and adjusted their thrusters, dodging collisions by mere meters. Sparks flew across control panels as shields absorbed minor impacts. The hum of the engines was constant, but each sudden movement of the fleet made hearts pound faster. "It's going to be like this all the way," Singh warned the crew. "Space doesn't forgive mistakes. Stay sharp." Even as the Armada continued, strange things began to appear on the scanners. Faint shadows moved between stars, appearing and disappearing before anyone could confirm what they were. Lena leaned closer to her console, analyzing the signals. "I don't know what it is," she said. "But it's watching us. Something is following the fleet." The crew felt a chill. Up to now, space had seemed empty, silent. Now, the idea that they were not alone brought unease. Every glance at the radar, every flicker on a monitor, carried a question. Would this unknown presence attack? Was it a scout of the enemy, or something even stranger? Days passed, and supplies were carefully rationed. Humans adapted to life aboard the massive ships, learning to sleep in shifts, to eat synthetic food, and to train for unexpected dangers. Despite the discomfort, morale stayed high. Singh walked through the corridors often, offering words of encouragement. "We may be far from home, but we are not helpless," he said. "We are humans. We think, we create, we fight. That is our advantage." One night, as the flagship glided silently past a glowing nebula, alarms suddenly blared. "Unidentified object approaching," shouted a technician. The fleet quickly formed defensive positions. On the monitors, a sleek, dark ship appeared. It moved fast, almost too fast to track. Lena's fingers flew over her controls, trying to analyze it. "It's a scout," she exclaimed. "And it's armed." The small alien ship fired warning shots. Energy beams lit up the darkness, striking the Armada's shields. Sparks and flashes danced across the hulls, but no ship was destroyed. The humans had prepared for this, and their training showed. Pilots maneuvered with precision, dodging attacks, and targeting the scout with warning shots of their own. After several tense minutes, the alien ship retreated. The crew let out breaths they hadn't realized they were holding. Singh turned to Lena. "It's a test," he said. "They're watching. Learning. We need to be ready for more." Even with the danger, there were moments of quiet beauty. Outside the ships, stars burned brightly, nebulae glowed in strange colors, and distant planets spun slowly in the void. Crew members looked out the observation windows, feeling small and yet part of something immense. Humanity had left Earth, not as conquerors, but as guardians, moving through the galaxy with courage and determination. As days turned into weeks, the distress signal grew stronger again. It pulsed like a heartbeat, guiding the fleet. Lena noticed patterns she hadn't seen before. "They are moving," she said. "The enemy is chasing them, and they're running toward us." The Armada accelerated, pushing the limits of its engines. Every crew member understood the stakes. They were approaching a civilization in peril, a race that had already suffered unimaginable losses. And now, every decision, every maneuver, every moment of courage would determine whether these aliens survived. Singh gathered his senior officers on the bridge. "We are no longer observers," he said. "We are part of this fight. They sent us a call for help, and we will answer it. Whatever comes, we stand together. Humanity will not fail." A hush fell over the bridge as the fleet continued its journey. Stars streaked past like silver lines, and the void seemed endless, but hope burned bright in every human heart. They did not know what awaited them, the enemy was unknown, the path was dangerous, but they had made a choice. They would face whatever came, and they would fight with everything they had. In the darkness ahead, the faint glow of the alien world began to appear. The fleet was close now, and the first signs of destruction were visible in space debris and wrecked ships. Humanity's courage, creativity, and unity were about to be tested in ways no one had ever imagined. And in that moment, every human aboard the Armada understood one truth. They were the last hope for a civilization they had never met, and failure was not an option. The Armada emerged from the darkness of space, entering a star system scarred by conflict. Planets and moons floated like silent witnesses, their surfaces marked by craters and ruins. Pieces of destroyed ships drifted through space, some still glowing from recent explosions. The human fleet slowed, scanning everything carefully. Silence fell over the crews. This was no ordinary mission. They were entering a war zone. Commander Rajan Singh stood on the bridge of the flagship, his eyes fixed on the devastation. "This is worse than we imagined," he said quietly. Beside him, Dr. Lena Morales monitored the distress signal. It pulsed faster now, almost like it was alive, guiding them toward the surviving aliens. Finally, a small cluster of ships appeared ahead, battered and barely functioning. Alien beings could be seen moving inside, repairing damage and trying to shield themselves. They were smaller than humans had imagined, with delicate features, but their fear was clear. They looked toward the human fleet with a mixture of hope and disbelief. Lena adjusted the communications array. "I think they can hear us," she said. On the screen, a shaky holographic figure appeared. Its voice was strange, almost musical, but the translation software made the message clear. "We cannot survive alone. Who are you?" Singh stepped forward. "We are humans," he said. "We came as soon as we received your call. You are not alone anymore." The alien ships trembled at first, unsure if this was a trick or a trap. But as humans moved closer, their weapons remained sheathed, shields lowered, and the small alien vessels began to respond in kind. There was cautious relief, but also tension. They had seen their enemies destroy entire fleets. How could these newcomers help them survive? Lena studied the enemy signals carefully. Their attackers are fast and relentless, she explained. We are outnumbered, but we have a chance if we work together. She looked at Singh. We need to show them that humans fight differently. We fight for life, for hope, not just survival. The surviving aliens shared what they knew. Their civilization had been peaceful, trading knowledge and resources across nearby systems. But a new enemy, ruthless and unstoppable, had appeared from the outer rim. They consumed ships, planets, entire cities. We tried to hide, the alien leader said. But they always found us. Singh's jaw tightened. Then we will not hide. We will fight. And we will not let your people be destroyed while we watch. Even as words were exchanged, the Armada's sensors detected movement at the edge of the system. Shadows flickered between the stars. The alien enemy was approaching, faster than anyone had expected. Lena's fingers flew across the controls, tracking the incoming ships. They're here, she said. And they are massive. We need to prepare. The humans and aliens quickly coordinated. Human ships moved to the front, using their advanced shields and weapons to protect the smaller alien vessels. Humans taught the aliens new defensive formations, how to use energy fields and evasive maneuvers. Slowly, the aliens began to trust them. They saw that humans did not rely on brute force alone. They relied on intelligence, creativity, and unity. The first skirmish began when a group of the enemy's scouts approached. Energy beams lit up the darkness, streaking across space, hitting shields, and exploding in brilliant flashes. Human ships dodged and fired back with precision. The aliens watched in awe as humans took control of the battle, using tactics no one had ever seen. Even with the chaos, there were moments of connection. Human pilots signaled the aliens to follow, guiding them to safer zones. Engineers on human ships shared repairs and energy supplies. In the middle of war, a bond formed. These were not strangers anymore. They were allies fighting for life itself. As the battle continued, Singh addressed his senior officers. We can protect them, but we must push forward. This is our only chance to show the enemy that life will not be taken so easily. Humans are not weak. Humans will fight, and we will win, or we will die trying. The aliens began to believe. Hope returned to their eyes, the same hope that had been almost extinguished. They followed the human armada, trusting that their survival depended on it. And in that moment, humanity truly became more than just travelers in space. They became saviors, stepping into the unknown to protect life itself. But the larger threat still loomed. The main enemy fleet had not yet arrived, and space beyond the system shimmered with distant, dangerous energy. Lena studied the sensors carefully. The main fleet is coming, she warned. We will have a real fight soon. This is only the beginning. Singh nodded. Then we fight. Together. Humans and aliens. No one will fall today. Not if we can stop it. The Armada braced itself. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, the enemy closing in, and the first true test of human courage and ingenuity was about to begin. For the aliens, this was salvation. For humanity, it was a moment to prove that their kind could stand against the darkest forces of the galaxy. And for everyone watching, the universe was about to witness a new chapter in history, one where humans refused to be passive, one where hope could shine across the stars. The alien home system was quiet now, but the calm was dangerous. The survivors had huddled in damaged ships and floating stations, watching the humans carefully. Commander Rajan Singh and Dr. Lena Morales moved among the aliens, helping them prepare defenses and understand human strategies. Every moment counted. Every second of delay could give the enemy the advantage. We need a plan, Singh said to his senior officers. This enemy is unlike anything we've faced. They do not fight fairly. They destroy everything in their path. If we are going to save these people, we must think differently. We must be unpredictable. Lena projected the enemy movements on the main screen. "They are fast and relentless," she said. "They attack in waves, consuming ships in minutes. We cannot match them with brute force. But we can use strategy, traps, ambushes, and their overconfidence against them." The surviving aliens listened carefully. They had never fought this way before. Their weapons were powerful, but they were used to defending cities, not large fleets. Humans taught them to coordinate attacks, to combine shields and energy fields, and to use the terrain of space itself, asteroid fields, nebulae, and gravitational anomalies, to their advantage. In the workshops, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly. Alien ships were retrofitted with human technology, advanced shields, AI targeting systems, and energy traps. Humans worked alongside the aliens, sharing knowledge and encouraging them. It was a partnership built in hours, but trust grew quickly. Every human knew that failure was not an option, and every alien realized that humans were more than allies, they were protectors. The Armada held several briefings. Singh addressed all commanders and pilots. "Our goal is simple," he said. "Protect the survivors and stop the enemy. Every ship, every crew member, has a role. Do not underestimate them. They are ruthless, but we are humans. We are clever. We are united. And we will not fail." Even as preparations continued, the sensors detected strange signals. Shadows moved in the distance, scanning the fleet, almost as if the enemy was learning from their every move. Lena frowned. "They are adapting," she said. "Every time we test a formation, they try to counter it. They are intelligent. We must stay one step ahead." The humans devised a risky plan. They would split the enemy fleet, using bait ships to lure part of it into traps near asteroid fields. Meanwhile, the main fleet, combined with alien ships, would attack the remaining forces. It was dangerous. Any mistake could mean total destruction. But Singh looked at the eyes of the aliens. They were counting on them. He had no choice but to act. At night, if one could call it that, in the endless darkness of space, humans and aliens stood side by side, preparing for battle. Pilots ran simulations, engineers checked shields, and scientists ran calculations for energy waves and weapon output. Every detail mattered. Every decision could save lives. Lena walked through one of the alien ships. A young alien engineer looked up at her. "We do not know if we can fight like this," he admitted. "Our people are scared." "You can," Lena replied softly. "We are not just fighting for survival. We are fighting for hope. Humans have faced impossible odds before. That same courage is in you. Trust yourselves, and trust each other." Singh convened the final strategy meeting. Maps of the enemy fleet appeared as glowing projections. The enemy ships were vast, dark, and numerous. "They will come in waves," he explained. "Our goal is to split them, confuse them, and strike when they are weakest. We fight smart, not just hard. And when the moment comes, we show them that humans, and our allies, will not be pushed aside." Despite the tension, there were moments of human warmth. Crew members shared stories, laughter, and even music with their alien allies. It was a reminder of what they were fighting for, not just ships or territory, but life itself. And in those moments, humans and aliens began to see themselves as one team, united by purpose and hope. Finally, the preparations were complete. The Armada lined up in formation near the edge of the system. Energy shields glowed, weapons hummed with power, and every crew member waited silently, knowing the coming battle could change the course of history. Lena checked the sensors one last time. "They are close," she said. "Very close." Singh's eyes narrowed. "Then we fight. Not just for survival, but for every life that cannot defend itself. Humanity has reached the stars, and we will not back down. The enemy will learn one truth today. They do not face Earth alone. They face the courage of every human being, and we will not fail." The Armada waited. Space stretched endlessly ahead, filled with unknown danger. And in that moment, every human and alien aboard understood the truth. The battle to save a civilization was about to begin, and nothing could stop what was coming next. The dark shadow of the enemy fleet appeared on the sensors, stretching across space like a black storm. Commander Rajan Singh watched silently, his jaw tight. Every human and alien ship bristled with weapons, shields glowing like faint stars. This was the moment they had prepared for. The time to act had come. "Form up," Singh shouted. "Remember the plan. Bait them, split them, strike together. Every ship has a role." The Armada moved as one. Human ships led the way, taking the brunt of the first enemy waves, their shields absorbing energy blasts that could have destroyed lesser ships. Smaller alien vessels followed behind, guided by human pilots, dodging debris and returning fire when possible. Every move was calculated, every decision critical. Suddenly, enemy ships fired. Energy beams streaked across the void, hitting shields and exploding in brilliant flashes. One of the human frigates shuddered under the impact, alarms blaring, but the crew kept their positions. Pilots twisted their ships with precision, dodging and countering with laser bursts. The first wave was deadly, but the Armada held. Lena Morales monitored the battle from the flagship. "They are strong," she said. "But they underestimate us. Follow the traps. Push them into the asteroid fields." The bait ships moved deliberately, luring part of the enemy fleet toward the narrow corridors between massive asteroids. Energy beams bounced off rocks, shields flashed with sparks, and enemy ships collided with debris. It was dangerous, and several human ships took damage, but the enemy fleet had been split. The plan was working. Singh's voice rang out over the communication channels. "Now, hit them together." Human and alien ships launched coordinated attacks. Lasers, missiles, and energy pulses lit up the darkness. The enemy fought back fiercely, but humans were clever. They adapted mid-battle, using the enemy's speed and aggression against them. Ships darted through asteroid fields, hiding in shadows, and striking where the enemy least expected. For the aliens, it was a revelation. They had never fought like this before. Human tactics, combined with their own weapons, created a storm the enemy could not predict. Slowly, the tide began to turn. Enemy ships faltered, some retreating, others destroyed by traps and ambushes. Yet, victory was not easy. A massive enemy cruiser broke through the defensive line, heading straight for the flagship. Shields flared under the assault, sparks flying across the bridge. Singh clenched his fists. "Hold steady. Focus fire. We will not fall." Pilots from human and alien ships attacked the cruiser together. Energy beams struck with precision, and missiles tore through the enemy hull. Finally, with a brilliant explosion, the cruiser was destroyed. A cheer ran through the Armada, but there was no time to celebrate. The battle was far from over. Lena's eyes scanned the sensors. "Another wave is coming," she warned. "They are learning. We must stay ahead." Singh nodded. "Then we fight smarter. We do not panic. Every ship, every crew member, every strategy counts. Humans do not back down. We adapt. We survive. And we win." The enemy fleet pressed harder, more ships joining the fight. Explosions lit up the darkness as energy beams collided in brilliant flashes. Every human and alien pilot pushed themselves to the limit, dodging, attacking, protecting allies. Human ingenuity shone through every maneuver, using speed, shields, and calculated risk to stay ahead. In the middle of the chaos, Singh noticed a group of alien ships struggling to hold position. He sent a squad of human fighters to support them, covering their flanks and drawing enemy fire. Slowly, the aliens gained confidence, moving with humans as a single force. Hours passed like minutes. Every moment tested courage, skill, and endurance. The Armada fought relentlessly, refusing to give ground. The enemy had never encountered resistance like this, intelligent, creative, and united. Slowly, the tide turned further in humanity's favor. Finally, after a relentless battle, the enemy fleet began to retreat. Ships that had seemed unstoppable now scattered, fleeing into the darkness. The Armada held its formation, chasing only where safe, ensuring no stragglers could regroup. The battlefield grew silent, save for the hum of engines and the distant flashes of dying energy beams. Singh looked around the bridge, pride and relief in his eyes. "We did it," he said quietly. "We protected them." Humanity stood against the darkness and held the line. Lena turned to him, exhausted but smiling. "We didn't just fight," she said. "We showed them what humans can do. Courage, intelligence, unity. They have seen it firsthand." The aliens emerged from the shadows, their ships damaged but intact. They looked at the humans with awe and gratitude. For the first time, they felt hope again. The enemy had been powerful, but they had not been invincible. Humanity had proven that life, determination, and ingenuity could face even the darkest forces. Singh raised his voice to address both human and alien crews. "Today, we fought not for glory, not for conquest. We fought for life. We fought for hope. And together, we succeeded. Remember this moment. Remember what humanity can do when it stands together. We are capable of greatness, and this is only the beginning." The stars stretched endlessly around them, calm now, as if watching the Armada in quiet approval. Humanity had arrived among the stars, not as conquerors, but as saviors. And the universe had witnessed what humans could achieve when courage met purpose. The silence after the battle was almost deafening. The enemy fleet had scattered into the void, defeated, leaving behind wreckage that floated like stars of destruction. The human Armada hovered in the alien system, battered but victorious. Commander Rajan Singh stood on the bridge of the flagship, staring at the remnants of the conflict. Relief mixed with exhaustion, but his mind was already thinking of what came next. Dr. Lena Morales moved beside him, her eyes scanning the sensors. "We did it," she said softly. "They're safe for now." Singh nodded. "We gave them hope. That's what matters most. Humanity didn't just fight, we protected life itself." The surviving aliens began to emerge from hiding, their ships moving cautiously but steadily toward the humans. Small lights blinked on their vessels, signaling thanks, peace, and trust. Humans watched as the aliens' fear slowly transformed into wonder. For the first time in what felt like centuries, they believed they could survive. One of the alien leaders, fragile but dignified, approached Singh through the communication channel. "You are different," it said. "No other race would come, across the stars, to help. You have saved us." Singh felt a lump in his throat. "We did what anyone would do if they could," he replied. "We fight for life. That is what humans do. And now, your people can live, learn, and grow again." Lena watched the aliens respond to human guidance. They repaired their ships with human assistance, learned new defensive techniques, and slowly regained confidence. Even those who had been terrified of the enemy now worked alongside humans, understanding that courage and cleverness could overcome fear. The Armada prepared to return to Earth, but there was no celebration yet. Singh addressed the fleet one last time. "We leave now not because the fight is over, but because our mission of hope has been completed." Humanity answered a call for help, and we stood together, showing what our kind can do. Remember this moment. Remember what humans are capable of. As the Armada slowly moved away from the alien system, the aliens followed, waving signals of gratitude. Space was vast and dark, but now it was filled with a sense of life and promise. Every human aboard the ships felt the same pride. They had gone far beyond Earth to face the unknown and had proven that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the most terrifying threats. The journey home was quiet but filled with reflection. Crew members tended to minor damages, exchanged stories of bravery, and spoke of the aliens they had saved. No one would forget the faces of the beings who had sent that first fragile distress signal, the ones who had trusted humanity without ever meeting them. Lena leaned against a console, thinking aloud. "They will tell their children about us," she said. "Not just about the battle, but about humans themselves. They will remember that we came when no one else could." Singh looked out at the endless stars. "And Earth will know," he said. "We are capable of great things. We can protect life, fight against impossible odds, and succeed where others fail. That is what it means to be human." Even as they returned to the solar system, news of humanity's actions began to reach the rest of Earth. Governments, scientists, and ordinary people listened in awe as reports described the Armada, the aliens, and the battle that had changed the galaxy. Children looked up at the night sky, dreaming not just of exploration, but of courage, intelligence, and heroism. Humanity had set a new example, one that would inspire generations. When the Armada finally reached Earth, ships gliding through the atmosphere, people gathered to watch. They cheered not just for the victory, but for what it represented. Humans had proven that even in the darkest corners of the universe, hope, unity, and determination could shine. Commander Singh stepped onto the podium, facing the crowd. He raised his hand, voice strong and clear. "We answered a call for help. We showed that humans do not turn away from those in need. Today, we proved that courage, intelligence, and unity can change the course of history. Let this be the beginning of a new chapter, not just for Earth, but for life across the stars." The aliens, now allies, sent messages of thanks and friendship across space. Humanity had not only saved a civilization, but it had also forged a bond that would last for generations. The stars were no longer just distant lights, they were a reminder of what humans could accomplish, a stage for hope and heroism. And as Singh looked up at the night sky, he knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had stepped into the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as protectors. And the universe had witnessed the truth. When humans unite, nothing can stop them, not even the darkness of the cosmos. The stars shone brighter that night, reflecting the courage, ingenuity, and spirit of humanity. The galaxy had a new hero, and it carried the heart of Earth across the endless void.